All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. And today I'll be talking about a special little chant that's been going around some college campuses when they play one in particular school. And that's coming up right after this. Welcome back to I Am Just Justin. And yes, I am just Justin. You can call me Justin. And I'm going to be talking about a chant that has been going on that's targeted to BYU. Well, there's been a couple channels out there already that's been covering this special little chant here. But I've been debated about talking about this and stuff like that. But I think it has to be said. And since it is all about Just Justin, well, I'm going to be talking about this special little chant. All right? So, this chant in particular is targeted to BYU. And it is F the Mormons, okay? F the Mormons. Okay, well, the full word of it. But this is a YouTube channel, and I don't want to say that word on here just in case little kids are watching. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. And so it's been targeting a certain religion. Okay? So it's been targeting members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, nicknamed the Mormons because of the Book of Mormon. All right? So it's, it's just trash talking, some people will say, and things like that. But when it's targeted at a particular religion, it should be banned and it should be outlawed. Okay, because a lot of people were saying, if you're saying, F the Baptist, F the Muslims, F the Jewish, stuff like that, it would not be tolerated. But since it's directed at the Mormons or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then it's somehow acceptable in some levels, okay? So let's go back. Let's go through the history of this, okay? All right, so back in 2021, USC, fans were filmed using that chant during a football matchup. The university issued a late-night apology on Twitter, or now known as X, the following day. Okay? University of Oregon, 2022. This is perhaps the most viral instance, where the student section engaged in a chant during a football game in Eugene. The governor of Utah and the governor of Oregon both issued statements. Oregon issued a formal apology calling the chant offensive and disgraceful. Okay, and then Arizona State. While not always resulting in a massive conference fine, ASU has historically had a tense relationship with BYU fans, with multiple reports of a lot of disgusting religious comments over the last decade during basketball and football games. Okay, so this one was a little bit of a surprise to me. Utah State. Yes, Utah State, based up in Logan, Utah. Okay, Utah State University and BYU have often involved heavy trash talk. While the USU, Utah State University leadership, has made efforts to curb it, the chant has surfaced in student sections during several basketball games in Logan. Okay? So it always happens on the road for BYU, of course, because BYU fans are not going to say that because they're not that ignorant, I guess. They're not that type of a people to say that to a fan base, okay? So the most recent ones, okay, we're going to be talking about some of the recent ones here. Oklahoma State in basketball in February of 2026. It's a $50,000 fine from the Big 12, an official apology from the AD and the president from Oklahoma State. Okay. Now, the University of Colorado football, a $50,000 fine from the Big 12, mandatory sportsmanship training, and a public apology. University of Cincinnati, that was in November of 2025. Oh, University of Colorado was in September. An official public apology from the AD, John Cunningham, conference investigation. And then the University of Arizona, February of 2025, basketball. Was an official public apology. AD met with BYU leadership to address the internal culture. Okay? Now, yeah, I mean, the schools are getting fined $50,000, but it's not going to curb. It's not going to curb it. Okay? Because the students are not the ones who are paying the fine. It's the university that pays the fine, or even a donor will pay the fine. Okay? So the Big 12 commissioner had a conversation with his kids. And he said, I told my kids, you're not coming home if those words come out of your mouth. Okay? There'll be an article listed down below where that was quoted from. Okay? So, yeah, even though the Big 12 commissioner has come out and fined and stuff like that, he's Jewish, and it's struck a personal tone with him because of how sometimes people treat the Jews. Okay? And so that's a good first step. Okay? If his kids come home and they're saying that, they're not welcome there. All right? So the Big 12 commissioner, he's going to sit down with the presidents and the ADs in the spring to talk about what they can do at their annual meeting to nip this in the butt, to make the student section stop saying this offensive chant. Some people might not say it's offensive, but we all have our opinions. So I asked AI about the real consequences of how the university should handle it. And this is what AI came up with, okay? So, real consequences, immediate accountability, okay? So, only if you can get the student saying it, grab them, throw them out of the stadium, that would be good, so they're not allowed back in the stadium at all. Okay? And then the financial disincentives. Right now, the schools are paying it, and the students don't give a rat's butt about that. They're the ones who are doing it. But if you're grabbing them and throwing them out for immediate accountability, then you can say, hey, you owe $100 or you owe $200. That might curb it. Probably not. Okay? And then the loss of privilege. Only if you can enforce it. So yeah, the first few right here, the immediate accountability, the financial disincentive, and the loss of privilege will only come if you can enforce it. And then the last thing that the AI had put out was coach-led culture shift. Okay? So this might be the one I will agree with AI, is that this is probably the most promising one. So here is the thing that I will suggest that happens. Okay? This is what the Big 12 should do, and the NCAA, because it's not only Big 12 schools, but it is, some Big 10 schools. I have never heard of an SEC school chanted, which is kind of odd. But anyway, okay? So they should come out with a new rule. If the home team, because it happens when BYU plays away, either on the football field, basketball field. I don't hear it at baseball fields, but it could be across the whole entire sports industry, all sports. Okay? So, the first time it's chanted, if they're on the football field, BYU will automatically get a 25-yard unsportsmanlike conduct and a first down. Automatic first down. Okay? First time. And if they're on the basketball court, it's an automatic 3-shot technical foul. And BYU gets the ball after that. Okay? The second one is another penalty and another 3-shot. Okay? Third warning, automatic forfeit of the game. That is the way you need to curb this in the butt. Say the Oklahoma State instance here, just recently. They would have to forfeit that game. And they would have to go away with a losing record. That would be punishing just the student athletes. Because they're saying that because their fans are too immature and they're saying this chant. And so student athletes will get will be targeted and they will have to cancel, forfeit their game. Anytime that chant comes up, third warning, boom, the game's forfeited. Or you could always put that into place and say the student body tickets were now $20. Now they're going to be $200 because this chant has been going on. If you don't want the $200 tickets or however much, you stop saying that chant. But you can also look at it as the coach-led culture shift. Okay? Even though it will reflect upon the student athletes, the coach can take the initiative and tell the crowd that if they start that chant, his players will sit. And if the chant continues, the players will walk off the court, off the field, and forfeit the game. And that's it. Even though that will punish the student athletes for some stupid decisions the student section makes. But I think that will hurt the student athletes' chance, and maybe the student athletes will start saying, "Hey, we're going to be losing this game, because of our fans saying this chant," and that's got to stop. So I those are just my opinions on how things should be handled. I'm not sure if it's going to stop or not like that, because students will be students and they'll do what they want to do because it doesn't affect them. But when their team is playing the Big 12 championship and they start saying this and their team forfeits the game and loses that Big 12 championship, then the students might think. Or if it's in March Madness and BYU is playing and it's a pivotal game to go to the Final Four and the opposing team starts chanting that and the opposing team forfeits and loses that ability to go on, it not only makes the players mad and upset because their fans could control their own mouths. Okay? You should be saying F the Mormons because that is an offensive religious. Just like you shouldn't be saying F the Baptists, F the Catholics, F the Muslims. Because if it happened to the Muslims, oh hell, it would be an uproar. Okay? But since it's happening only to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it seems to be like it's fine. So it has to be a culture shift. It has to be dealt with on the NCAA level. And they might have to throw a fine in there, $500,000. That doesn't go to the Big 12. It goes to BYU, or it goes to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because, like, take the Cincinnati instance. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or BYU's alumni, they ended up donating a whole bunch of stuff to a homeless program there in Cincinnati. And then the Cincinnati fans turned around and said that chant. You know, how stupid of the student body to do that. It helped the student body out because it went to their food pantry to help their students out, but they turned around and treated that like, who gives a crap? I'm just going to say this because I don't like the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Well, but I can tell you this one thing right here, people. Not everybody who plays on the basketball team, football team, baseball team, wrestling, and stuff like that, any sports activity, they're not all members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They're not. Okay? I can just tell you that right now. And I know that the one in Oregon where they were saying that chant, they had a recruit come to that game. And he was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I do believe he dropped Oregon as a school to consider because of that chant. So, I don't know how you can get the fans to stop this, but I have put forth some options. Penalties, technical shots, forfeit the game. The coach says if this happens, we will walk off the court. We will walk off the field. And if it continues to happen, we will forfeit the game and walk away. I think that's the only way. It might rattle up the student section a little bit more, just to see if they're serious or not. Because the student sections don't really give a rat's butt. Okay? They don't care. They're not being punished. But if the student athletes are starting to be punished, then they might be like going, hey, students, shut up. Show some respect. All right? So that is just me and what my thoughts are, because we are entitled to our own opinions on thoughts and stuff like that. So for me, I would never stoop that low. I would never go in to Colorado and say a chant like that. Something that would offend Colorado. I would just never do that because I'm not that type of a sports fan. I'll trash talk. But in the end of it, it's all just a game. All just a game. And, win or lose, you be respectful for the other team. All right? This has nothing to do with the chant, but we went to an Arizona game. It was an away game down in Tucson. And we came back in my friend's car. It was keyed because it had Utah license plates on it. How the heck did they know that we were BYU fans? We could have been students at the University of Arizona, and we went to the football game, but no, they keyed it just because they were immature. All right, guys? So that is my rant here about this topic. So, Big 12 Christian, if you're listening, well, I want you to take those things to the NCAA and see, implement the BYU penalty. If that chance starts, 3-shot technical foul, 25-yard penalty, automatic first down. You can adjust it here and there, but it needs to get a point. All right? And so, on this channel, I am Just Justin, because it's all about me, Just Justin. It's a no niche channel. I talk about normal things here on this channel. Yeah, I talk about normal things here. I talk about everyday life things. I talk about a little weird off the radar things like this chant here. I do have a few other things that I'll be talking about. I usually focus on cooking, and I did some dad jokes. I might have to get back into that. That was fun. Um, and I just do other things here on Just Justin here because it's all revolves around me, Just Justin. So something that happened to me, and kind of a weird thing. It's going to be about my car. Okay, so it's something unique. Okay, so I would come back for that. So yeah, once again, this is Just Justin. I would love for you to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button down below. Then hit that bell notification so you'll be notified of any time I put a video out here on I Am Just Justin. And that is it for right now. So before I go, just be smart. Don't say anything stupid. Okay? That's all you have to do. It's just be smart. Don't say something stupid. All right, guys? And until the next video, I will see you later. Bye.